welcome to the Prescott Lab podcast, not just theory, practical science for everyone. Gentlemen, let's face it. If you're a man over 60, waking up at 2 or 3 in the morning isn't just an annoyance. It's a battle. You stumble to the bathroom, return to bed, and then nothing, wide awake. The clock ticks, your mind races, and by sunrise you feel like a shadow of yourself. But here's the truth most men never hear. Those restless nights aren't only stealing your sleep. They're draining your testosterone, aggravating your prostate, and quietly sabotaging the natural erections your body should be training with every night. What looks like just a bad night's rest is actually a warning sign that your masculine engine, your circulation, your hormones, your prostate needs attention. I'm Dr. Jonathan Prescott, and for more than 3 decades, I've worked with men just like you, men who thought their best nights and their strongest mornings were gone forever. What I've seen again and again is that small changes at night can restore not only deep, unbroken sleep, but also the vitality and confidence you thought you'd lost. Before we dive in, do me one favor. If you're serious about reclaiming your nights, hit subscribe and tap like. Why? Because every like tells the algorithm and tells me that men's health after 60 matters. And when you comment, I read it. Type 1 if you've struggled with midnight wake-ups or 0 if you sleep like a rock. Either way, your story helps shape the conversations we have here. Tonight, I'll show you why your body wakes at that dangerous 2-4 a.m. window, the mistakes that keep you awake, and the natural, science-backed rituals that can put you back to sleep and protect your manhood in the process. Gentlemen, let's peel back the curtain on what really happens inside your body during those midnight hours. You see, between 2 and 4 in the morning, your body is supposed to be in its deepest repair mode. This is when melatonin surges, when your brain clears toxins, and most importantly for men over 60, when testosterone production peaks. But here's the paradox. The very moment your body should be renewing your masculine strength, something else is happening. Your core temperature begins to rise again. Earlier in the evening, it dropped just enough to trigger melatonin, letting you drift into that first deep phase of sleep. But by the time the clock strikes 2 or 3, the body's thermostat nudges upward. For many men, that subtle shift is enough to stir the bladder, jolt the mind, or even trigger a prostate already under pressure. And once you're awake, the natural cycle is broken. The testosterone release slows. The nighttime erections, nature's way of keeping penile tissue healthy and elastic, disappear. Your prostate feels heavier, your circulation falters, and you start the day weaker than you should. I've seen this play out countless times in my clinic. One patient, Harold, age 68, told me, "Doc, I can fall asleep fine, but around 3 in the morning I wake up like clockwork. Sometimes it's to use the bathroom. Sometimes it's just my mind racing. Either way, I lie there restless, and by dawn I feel like I've lost a piece of myself." Harold thought it was just age, but what he didn't realize was that those broken nights were robbing him of the very foundation of his manhood. Science confirms this. Sleep fragmentation reduces testosterone levels by as much as 10–15% in older men. Add that up over months and years, and you see why energy, desire, and erectile strength fade faster than they should. And if your prostate is enlarged, forcing you to get up to urinate, the problem doubles down. Each trip to the bathroom pulls you out of deep sleep and slams the brakes on hormone renewal. But here's the hope I want you to hold on to. Just because you wake up at night doesn't mean you're doomed to stay awake or to lose your strength. With the right strategies, you can ride out that natural temperature shift, calm the prostate's urge to wake you, and slip back into the very sleep that rebuilds testosterone and circulation. And that, my friends, is why the next part is so important. It's because I'm going to show you a simple, powerful breathing method used by doctors, monks, even world-class athletes, that lowers your heart rate, resets your circulation, and gives your body the best chance to fall back asleep while restoring your masculine edge. Gentlemen, let me share with you a truth I've learned in over 3 decades of working with men just like you. The body is not a machine that simply shuts off at night. It's alive, pulsing, adjusting every second. And when you wake at 2 or 3 in the morning, heart beating a little faster, mind beginning to race, you need a way to tell that living system, calm down, return to rest, start the healing again. That's where the 4-7-8 breathing method comes in. Some of you may have heard of it. It was first popularized by Dr. Andrew Weil, a physician who studied both Western medicine and Eastern practices. But what fascinates me is not the origin, it's the effect. Because this simple breathing technique doesn't just quiet the mind, it speaks directly to your heart, your circulation, and yes, even your erections. Now you might be thinking, Doc, how can just breathing fix my sleep and my masculinity? And I understand the skepticism. But here's what most men don't realize. Your breath is the remote control for your nervous system. When you breathe shallow and fast, like when you're anxious, your body thinks it's in danger. Cortisol rises, adrenaline pumps, blood vessels tighten. In that state, testosterone production grinds to a halt, blood flow to the penis is restricted, and sleep becomes impossible. But when you breathe slow, deep, and deliberate, something remarkable happens. You activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and repair side of your biology. Your heart rate slows, your blood vessels open, and circulation improves. Testosterone is released more steadily, and the very tissues of your prostate and penis get the oxygen and nutrients they've been craving. Think of it this way, each deep, controlled breath is like oiling the hinges of a rusty door. At first, it may creak, but soon it opens smoothly, effortlessly. That's what your circulation needs after 60 gentle, consistent reminders that it can still flow freely. The 4-7-8 method step by step. Here's how it works. Breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds. Not a shallow sip, but a deep draw that expands your belly. Imagine pulling fresh oxygen all the way into the base of your lungs, filling your bloodstream with fuel. Hold that breath for 7 seconds. This pause is powerful. It allows oxygen to saturate your blood, giving your tissues time to absorb what they need. It's also the moment your heart slows just slightly, sending a signal of calm to your nervous system. Exhale slowly through your mouth for 8 seconds. Purse your lips and let the air flow like you're blowing out a candle in slow motion. This long release is what resets your system. It lowers blood pressure, eases tension in the pelvic muscles, and primes your body to slide back into sleep. And then you repeat 4-7-8, 4-7-8. I usually recommend 4 cycles to start, especially when you're awake at night. That's just about a minute of your time. But the change you'll feel is profound. A slower heart rate, calmer thoughts, and a warmth in your lower body that tells you blood is moving where it should. Now let's talk directly about what matters most to you as a man over 60, circulation and erections. Erections are at their core a vascular event. Blood must rush into the corpora cavernosa, the chambers inside the penis, and stay there. But for that to happen, the arteries feeding the pelvis must relax. The veins must close, and the nervous system must give a clear green light. The 4-7-8 method touches all three. By slowing your heart and lowering blood pressure, you remove resistance from the arteries. By activating the parasympathetic nervous system, you encourage the relaxation response that allows those chambers to fill. And by lowering cortisol, you lift the hormonal brake that often sabotages testosterone's effects. I've had patients tell me they started using this method just to get back to sleep. But weeks later, they confessed something unexpected. Their morning erections returned. Stronger, more consistent. That's not magic, that's physiology. Because when your circulation is trained to flow, it flows everywhere, not just to your brain and heart, but to the very core of your masculinity. Let me share one example. A man named Samuel, age 72, came to me complaining that he hadn't slept through the night in years. He also admitted with some embarrassment that he no longer experienced morning erections. His confidence was fading, and so was his intimacy with his wife. I taught him the 4-7-8 method. At first, he struggled. He told me, "Doc, I felt silly counting in my head. It didn't seem like it could do anything." But he stuck with it. 2 weeks later, he returned with a smile. "I'm still waking at 3 a.m., but now I can fall back asleep within minutes. And last night, I woke up hard for the first time in months." His wife noticed too. She told him, "I feel like I've got my husband back." That's the ripple effect of something as simple as controlled breathing. So here's what I want you to do tonight. When you wake between 2 and 4 a.m., resist the urge to grab your phone or pace around. Instead, lie back, close your eyes, and start the 4-7-8 rhythm. In for 4, hold for 7, out for 8. 4 cycles, 1 minute. You may not feel a miracle instantly, but stay with it. Night after night, your body learns. Your heart learns to slow. Your vessels learn to relax, and your hormones find their natural rhythm again. This isn't a gimmick, it's training. The same way you once trained your muscles in the gym, now you must train your body to rest, recover, and restore. Now, some of you will try this and still feel restless, and that's okay, because breathing is only one piece of the puzzle. The bigger picture also depends on what you don't do when you wake at night. And that, gentlemen, is exactly where we're headed next. Because the 3 most common mistakes men make after midnight can undo all the progress you've just learned. And if you don't avoid them, you'll stay locked in that cycle of broken sleep, low testosterone, and fading strength. Gentlemen, let's get honest about why so many of you wake at 2 or 3 a.m. and then stay awake until dawn. It isn't just the temperature shift or the prostate nudging your bladder. More often than not, it's the little things you do in those fragile minutes after waking that sabotage your chance of falling back asleep. I've seen men work so hard on their breathing, their routines, even their diets, only to throw it all away with 3 mistakes that seem harmless but can wreck both their sleep and their masculine health. The first mistake is turning on the light. It sounds simple, doesn't it? You wake, maybe you want to check your path to the bathroom, maybe you just want to glance at the clock. But the moment light hits your eyes, your brain gets the wrong message. It must be morning. Melatonin shuts down, cortisol rises, and your body shifts into day mode even though you desperately need more rest. For men over 60, this is especially dangerous because melatonin is not just about sleep. It helps regulate testosterone and protects the prostate. Shut it off too soon and you're stealing from yourself the very hormones that keep you vital. I've had patients tell me, "Doc, I just flicked the light on for a second." But that second is enough. One flash of brightness can cost you hours of recovery. The second mistake is walking around the house. You might think stretching your legs will tire you out. In reality, it jolts your system. The act of moving elevates your heart rate, sends blood away from your core, and tells your nervous system that you're starting the day. This is the exact opposite of what your body needs. Remember, your circulation is the key to both restorative sleep and strong erections. If you spike your heart rate at 3 in the morning, you break the cycle of repair, and the blood flow that should be fueling your prostate and your manhood is now being redirected to keep you upright and alert. One man in his late 60s confessed that he would pace the hall for 20 minutes hoping to tire himself out. Instead, he trained his body to expect activity at 3 a.m., and his sleep only grew worse. The third mistake is eating in the middle of the night. I know the temptation. Your stomach growls, you feel restless, and you tell yourself a quick snack will help. But the truth is, nothing could be more damaging. The moment you eat, your digestive system shifts into overdrive. Blood rushes to the gut, insulin spikes, and your body is forced into a state of metabolic alertness. That rise in insulin also triggers cortisol, the stress hormone, which directly blocks testosterone production. I've seen men eat a small snack at 3 a.m. and then wonder why they felt groggy and weak the next morning. It isn't the food itself, it's the timing. Eating at night hijacks the deep repair cycle that fuels both your energy and your erections. Gentlemen, I want you to hear me clearly. Each of these mistakes, light, walking, eating, may seem innocent, but together they form a pattern that can shave years off your vitality. They rob you of melatonin, disrupt testosterone renewal, and interrupt the natural cycle of nighttime erections that keep your tissues alive and responsive. But here's the good news. Once you recognize these traps, you can avoid them. You don't need perfection, you just need awareness. If you wake in the middle of the night, stay in the dark, stay still, stay calm. Trust the breathing you've learned. Let your body settle. And remember, each minute you protect in those early hours is an investment in your manhood, your confidence, and your health. And if you're still wondering what else you can do besides breathing and avoiding mistakes, you'll want to pay close attention to the next part. Because now I'm going to hand you a tool straight from the playbook of Olympic athletes. An extraordinary visualization exercise that clears your mind of worry and pulls you gently back into the sleep your body craves. Gentlemen, let me tell you a secret. When I ask men in their 60s and 70s what keeps them awake at 3 in the morning, very few say my bladder or my prostate outright. What they confess, often with hesitation, is this: "Doc, my mind just won't shut off." Thoughts about family, bills, regrets, health fears swirling endlessly like a storm. And here's the truth, it isn't just in your head. Racing thoughts keep your heart rate elevated, tighten your blood vessels, and spike cortisol. In that state, your body cannot produce testosterone, cannot maintain circulation to your prostate and penis, and cannot drift back into the deep restorative sleep you need. Your mind becomes the lock that holds your manhood hostage. Now, what if I told you the solution doesn't come from a pill, a supplement, or even a breathing exercise, but from the mental playbook of Olympic athletes? The same method world-class competitors use to silence nerves before the biggest nights of their lives can help you, a man over 60, silence the storm at 3 a.m. and return to sleep with dignity. I call it the Olympic corridor. Picture this: you're lying in bed, heart a little fast, mind buzzing. Instead of fighting those thoughts, because the more you push them away, the louder they get, you give them a place to go. Close your eyes and imagine a long corridor stretching before you. Along each side are doors. Wooden, metal, painted, plain, it doesn't matter. What matters is that every door is waiting to take one burden off your mind. Now walk down that corridor in your imagination. Open the first door. Take one thought, say tomorrow's errands or that bill you've been worrying about, and place it gently inside. Close the door. Feel the weight lift slightly. Then move to the next door. Place another thought inside, maybe the pain in your hip or the memory of that argument with your son. Close the door. Keep walking, door after door, thought after thought. One by one, they leave your mind and stay behind you. And here's the remarkable part. As you do this, your body begins to relax, cortisol drops, your heart rate slows. Blood flow begins to return to your core, your prostate, your pelvis. You are creating space for melatonin to flow again, for testosterone to be released, for your body to drift back to sleep and resume the natural cycle of nighttime erections that keep you strong. I had a patient, Gerald, age 74, who swore he was doomed to sleepless nights. He told me, "Doc, I can handle getting older, but what I can't handle is lying there, staring at the ceiling, feeling useless." I taught him the corridor method. A week later, he returned with a grin. For the first time in years, I fell back asleep without pills. I walked my corridor, shut my doors, and next thing I knew it was morning and I woke up hard. I hadn't felt that in ages. This is not magic, this is neuroscience. Visualization is proven to calm the amygdala, the fear center of your brain, and activate the prefrontal cortex, which restores control. It is the mental equivalent of opening a valve in your circulation system. By giving your brain a task, walk, open, place, close, you distract it from the spiral of worry and guide it back to stillness. Now let me guide you through it in real time. Tonight when you wake, don't reach for your phone. Don't sigh in frustration. Just close your eyes and build your corridor. Make it as vivid as you can. Hear the echo of your footsteps. Feel the coolness of the door handles. Smell the faint wood or paint. Place each thought inside with care. Don't judge the thought. Don't wrestle it. Just give it a home and move on. By the time you've walked down 10 doors, most men report their eyelids growing heavy. Some don't even finish the corridor. Their minds quiet, their bodies relax, and they drift naturally into the sleep their hormones crave. Gentlemen, let me be blunt. If you can master this, you are training more than your sleep. You are retraining your nervous system to release control at the right moment, to lower cortisol, to restore testosterone, and to allow circulation to return to the very parts of you that define your vitality. This isn't only about falling asleep. It's about reclaiming your manhood one night at a time. And just like Olympic athletes who practice visualization until it becomes second nature, you too must practice. The first night may feel awkward, the second a little easier, but by the third or fourth, your brain will recognize the ritual, corridor, doors, thoughts placed away, silence, sleep. So tonight when you wake, remember you have a choice. Let your mind race and steal your strength, or walk the corridor, shut the doors, and give yourself the gift of rest. And as powerful as visualization is, there's still more to the story. Because even if you master breathing and visualization, your nightly habits, the way you treat your body before and after sleep, can make or break your progress. And that, gentlemen, is exactly what we'll uncover next. Gentlemen, we've talked about breathing, we've talked about visualization. But let's face it, if your nightly habits are working against you, all the best techniques in the world won't be enough. Your body is like a finely tuned orchestra, and if just one instrument plays out of tune, the whole symphony suffers. For men over 60, that orchestra is fragile. Hormones shift, circulation slows, the prostate grows heavier. That's why what you do in the hours before bed, the choices you make without even thinking, can be the difference between a night of healing sleep and a night of broken rest. So let's get practical. I want to hand you the same guidelines I give my patients, the ones that have helped men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s not only fall asleep faster, but also protect their testosterone, restore their nighttime erections, and reclaim their vitality. The first rule is to respect the evening. Too many men treat the hours before bed as a dumping ground for stress. They scroll through emails, argue with the news on television, or snack mindlessly while sitting under bright lights. And then they wonder why their minds refuse to shut off at midnight. Gentlemen, your nervous system is not a switch. It's a dial. It needs time to turn down. One patient of mine, Leonard, age 66, used to stay up until midnight watching crime dramas on TV, then crawl into bed wide awake. After shifting his routine, dimming lights after 9 p.m., turning off the television, and reading a calming book instead, he was astonished. "Doc, I never thought something so simple could make such a difference," he told me. His sleep deepened, and so did his morning strength. The second rule is to be smart with food and drink. I've seen men sabotage their nights with a glass of whiskey or a heavy plate of pasta at 9 p.m. Alcohol may make you drowsy, but it shatters sleep cycles, lowers testosterone, and inflames the prostate. Heavy meals force the body to divert blood to digestion instead of repair. And caffeine, even if you swear you can handle it, can linger for 8 to 10 hours, quietly elevating your heart rate long after the last sip. Swap that late-night coffee for herbal tea, that late-night beer for warm almond milk, and you'll discover just how quickly your nights improve. The third rule is to create a cave. Yes, a cave. Your bedroom must be cool, dark, and quiet, the way men have slept for thousands of years before electricity and glowing screens. A rise of even 2 degrees in core body temperature can wake you at 2 a.m., robbing you of melatonin and testosterone release. That's why keeping your room around 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit makes such a difference. Blackout curtains, earplugs, and leaving your phone outside the bedroom are not luxuries. They are survival tools for your manhood. One of my patients, Thomas, age 70, laughed when I suggested blackout curtains. "Doc, I'm not a bat," he joked. 2 weeks later, he was a convert. "I can't believe I've been fighting light all these years," he told me. His sleep improved, his prostate symptoms eased, and most importantly to him, his morning erections returned. The fourth rule is consistency. Your body loves rhythm. Going to bed at 11 one night and 1 the next is like jerking the wheel of a car back and forth on the highway. Sooner or later, you crash. Set a bedtime. Set a waking time and honor them as if they were appointments with your health, because they are. When your body knows when to release melatonin, when to lower temperature, when to renew testosterone, it does so more effectively. I've seen men cut their nightly bathroom trips in half just by honoring a consistent rhythm. Finally, the fifth rule is ritual. I've said it before and I'll say it again, your body craves signals. A short, repeated action before bed, a few minutes of stretching, rubbing castor oil on the lower abdomen, or practicing the 4-7-8 breath tells your nervous system it's time to let go. One veteran patient of mine, Richard, built a simple routine: dim lights at 9, warm shower at 9:30, castor oil application at 10, breathing and visualization in bed. "Doc," he told me, "it feels like I've trained my body the way I used to train in the Army." Once the routine starts, everything falls into place. His nights became smoother, his energy stronger, and his sense of control returned. Gentlemen, here's the bottom line. You cannot separate sleep hygiene from masculine health. Poor sleep is not just an annoyance, it's a thief. It robs you of testosterone, circulation, and erections. But good sleep hygiene is not just a habit, it's an ally. It gives you back your energy, your prostate health, and your confidence as a man. So tonight, I want you to take one small step. Choose just one of these rules: dim the lights, cut the alcohol, cool the room, and make it yours. Don't try to overhaul your whole life in one night, just begin. Because the men I've seen succeed are not the ones who did everything perfectly. They are the ones who started small and stayed consistent. And as we move forward, remember this: sleep hygiene is your foundation. But the journey doesn't end there. Because as much as I can teach you, some of the most powerful lessons come from you, the men who listen, who try, who write in with your struggles and your victories. And that's why in the next part, I want to open the floor to your voices. Questions from men just like you, answered with the honesty and care you deserve. Gentlemen, one of the things I love most about this podcast is the conversation we're building together. For decades, I sat in quiet exam rooms, listening to men one at a time. Now, through this channel, I hear from thousands of you, your struggles, your victories, your doubts, and your hopes. And tonight, I want to honor that. I've gathered a handful of the most common questions that men over 60 have sent me in the comments and through letters, and I'll answer them here, the same way I would if you were sitting across from me in my office. The first question comes from James, age 72. "Doc, I wake up every night around 3, not just once, but 2 or 3 times. I thought it was just my bladder, but even after I go, I still lie awake. Is this my prostate or is it something else?" James, that's an excellent question, and it's one I hear often. The truth is, your bladder may be what wakes you, but it's not the only reason you can't get back to sleep. Once you're awake, your body has to restart the process of calming heart rate, lowering temperature, and restoring melatonin. For many men, the prostate puts extra pressure on the bladder, which triggers the first awakening. But what keeps you awake after is the nervous system. That's why breathing and visualization are so powerful. They reset the system. And here's the hope: if you calm the nervous system, even if your bladder nudges you up, you can still drift back into sleep without losing the hormonal repair that protects your erections and energy. The second question comes from Lionel, age 65. "Doc, is it really true that waking up at night lowers testosterone? I thought low T was just age." Lionel, let me be blunt. Yes, it's true. Studies show that fragmented sleep reduces testosterone by up to 15% even in younger men. In older men, the effect is even sharper because baseline levels are already lower. Think of testosterone like a nightly deposit into your bank account. Every time you wake, the deposit is interrupted. If it happens once in a while, the damage is small. But night after night, year after year, those missing deposits add up. That's why so many men feel drained, weaker, less confident. And the irony is, the very thing you think is just harmless sleep loss is actually accelerating the decline. The good news, restore your nights and your testosterone often rebounds more than you'd expect. The third question is from a viewer who preferred to stay anonymous. Doc, I tried the 4-7-8 breathing, but honestly, I didn't feel much change. Am I doing it wrong? Friend, first let me tell you this, you're not broken and you're not alone. Most men don't feel fireworks the first night. Breathing is like training a muscle. The first time you lift a weight, the change is small, but with repetition, the nervous system learns. The 4-7-8 method lowers heart rate through something called vagal stimulation. It activates the vagus nerve, which tells your whole system to relax. For some men, the effect is subtle at first, but by the third or fourth night, the shift is undeniable. So don't give up. Give your body time to relearn what calm feels like. Now here's a different kind of question. Robert, age 69, writes, Doc, all of this sounds good, but I'm skeptical. Are you just telling us what we want to hear? Robert, I respect that. Skepticism is healthy, and let me assure you, I'm not here to sell quick fixes or make empty promises. I've sat with men in pain, men who felt ashamed, men who thought their masculinity was gone forever. And I've seen what happens when they make small, consistent changes. Their sleep deepens, their confidence returns, and their intimacy with their wives often improves. These are not fairy tales. They are the lived experiences of real men backed by science, and you're right to question. But I'd challenge you, why not test it yourself? 7 nights, no pills, no risks, just breathing, visualization, and better habits. Let your body prove the truth. The next question comes from Eduardo, age 63. Doc, what about supplements? Everyone on the internet says magnesium, zinc, or melatonin pills are the answer. Should I just take those instead? Eduardo, supplements can help, but they are not the foundation. Magnesium from a pill may relax you, but magnesium from warm almond milk before bed comes with proteins and amino acids that support deeper sleep cycles. Zinc supports testosterone, yes, but without restful sleep, your body cannot use it effectively. And melatonin pills, they may help you fall asleep, but they don't fix the reason you wake at 3 a.m. That's why I always tell my patients, start with habits first. Let supplements play a supporting role, not the starring one. Finally, let's address a lighter question that made me smile. From George, age 71, Doc, does this mean no more midnight snacks? My wife says you're ruining our fun. George, tell your wife I apologize, but yes, no more midnight snacks, at least not if you value your erections. Food at night raises insulin, insulin raises cortisol, and cortisol blocks testosterone. You may enjoy the snack in the moment, but you're trading tomorrow's strength for tonight's taste. That's not a bargain I'd recommend. Gentlemen, I hope these questions remind you of 2 things. First, you're not alone. The struggles you carry in silence are the same struggles men across the world are facing. And second, there are answers, simple, practical, science-backed answers that can restore your nights and your manhood. And now, as we move toward the conclusion of this journey, I want to tie it all together. We've talked about the science, the breathing, the visualization, the habits, and now your questions. Next, I'll give you the final word, the truth I want you to carry into tonight, and into every night moving forwards. Gentlemen, we've walked a long road together tonight. From the first whisper of why you wake at 3 a.m., to the quiet science of body temperature and melatonin, to the practical breathing and visualization techniques, to the habits that shape your nights, and even through your questions, each step has led us to this moment. And now I want to leave you with the truth that matters most. You are not powerless. Sleep is not just a luxury for a man over 60. It is the engine of vitality, the nightly workshop where testosterone is forged, where blood vessels are repaired, and where the natural cycle of nocturnal erections is renewed. Every hour of deep rest is not just rest, it is your body restoring your manhood. Too many men believe the opposite. They think waking up tired, weak, and restless is just the price of getting older. They shrug at their nightly struggles, they laugh it off with friends, or worse, they suffer in silence. But I have seen with my own eyes that silence is the thief. What restores a man is action, no matter how small. A breath, a visualization, a cooler bedroom, a glass of warm almond milk instead of water. These are not tricks, they are signals to your body that you are choosing strength over surrender. Let me tell you about Harold, a 68-year-old who came to me after years of broken nights. He told me, "Doc, I'm done. I've tried pills, teas, even hypnosis. Nothing works." His eyes carried the weight of a man who had given up, but I refused to let him surrender. I gave him the same steps I've given you tonight: 4-7-8 breathing, the Olympic corridor visualization, no lights, no midnight snacks, a cool bedroom. He grumbled, he doubted, but he tried. 2 weeks later, he returned with a smile that made him look 10 years younger. "Doc," he said, "I woke up this morning and I felt alive again." And my wife noticed. That, gentleman, is the power of reclaiming your nights. And it's not just about erections or prostate health, it's about dignity. When you sleep, you restore your patience, you sharpen your mind, you reclaim the energy to play with your grandchildren, to enjoy a meal without fatigue, to walk into a room with quiet confidence. A man who sleeps deeply is a man who lives deeply. I know some of you listening right now are skeptical. You've heard promises before, you've tried and failed. But here's what I ask you: don't chase perfection. Don't demand that everything change in one night. Start small. Tonight, when you wake at 3 a.m., don't reach for your phone, don't pace the hall, don't raid the fridge. Instead, close your eyes, breathe in for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8. Then build your corridor, open the doors, place your worries inside, and let the silence return. That's it. Just start there. One night, one choice. And when you do, I want you to share it with me. Leave a comment below. Tell me if you tried the breathing, the visualization, or even just dimmed your lights earlier in the evening. Tell me if it worked or if you struggled. Because this is not just my voice speaking into the dark. This is a community. Thousands of men listening, learning, and fighting for the same thing: dignity, strength, and restful nights. And when you leave a comment, you're not only helping yourself, you're giving another man courage to try. If this video gave you hope, if it stirred something inside you, take a moment right now to press like. I know it sounds simple, even silly, but each like tells the algorithm that men's health matters, that our struggles deserve to be heard, and that no man should have to face them alone. That click might seem small, but it can help this message reach another brother who is awake right now at 3 a.m., scrolling, searching, desperate for an answer. And of course, subscribe. If you haven't yet, do it now. That little red button is more than just a subscription. It's a commitment to yourself. A reminder that you're not done, that you still have nights to reclaim, mornings to celebrate, and years ahead worth living fully. Gentlemen, let me close with this. Your manhood is not measured by the years behind you, but by the choices you make today. And tonight you have a choice: to let sleepless nights continue to drain you, or to take one step, however small, toward healing. I have walked this road with thousands of men, and I know the truth: your body remembers. Your strength is not gone. It waits for you in the silence of the night, ready to rise again if you give it the chance. So go to bed tonight not with worry, but with hope. Breathe, visualize, protect your nights. Because when you reclaim your sleep, you don't just reclaim rest, you reclaim your manhood, your vitality, and your place as the man you were always meant to be. Good night, gentlemen. And may tomorrow morning greet you with strength.